Hey guys, some Gamer Dude here. On to the deck techs, and I'm starting with an easy one. I have a lot of the images done, there is only one deck to discuss, and the deck is fairly easy to explain. Yes, you heard that right, no budget build today. Two reasons. One, it straight up doesn't exist. Spark Brothers doesn't have a boss worthy of inhabiting the Vanguard circle other than General Siegfried. And two, General Siegfried just sneaks in by a hair. It's just a smidge under 2,000 yen. That makes him affordable in my books. So what is Spark Brothers trying to do? Build big columns, filter the deck of non-triggers, and swing big. Maybe restand a rearguard and kill an opponent's rearguard once in a while. I guess the best place to start is quite possibly the most important card in the deck. Commander Gary Gannon. Yeah, I thought it'd be the boss or one of the main attackers too, but honestly, the deck doesn't function without Commander Gary Gannon. He is single-handedly the most important card in the deck. Gary serves two purposes. He is rather amazing hand filter. It's a 2-card filter, and in Spark Brothers, despite the changes, still needs specific cards, and writing anything but General Siegfried is a death sentence. Gary gets you 2 cards closer to your key cards, or in worst scenario, General Siegfried. There is also the other really cool application of Gary. If you have extra copies of cards in your hand that you want in the deck, or triggers should you draw into them early, chuck them on the bottom of the deck and you don't have to worry about stacking, because Spark tutors and consequently shuffles the deck a lot. In addition to both of these, which are amazing applications by themselves, he gives pressure to columns, an early Vanguard booster, and fills the soul up. Amazing card. Really the cornerstone of the deck. I can't really stress how important Gary is. I didn't have him in to my second build, and it's like night and day. So let's move on to the boss, General Siegfried. I still have mixed feelings on General Siegfried, having played him quite a bit. The pressure to restand a rearguard, ones that are decently strong due to a combination of effects and gifts, along with killing a rearguard, is good, and sometimes, albeit rarely, it does happen. But it's in no way reliable. Don't bank on it happening unless you are trying to force it to happen. What is reliable is his act effect. He gives a nice plus 20,000 buff to your field, which in combination with your force gift can plus your field by up to 30,000 a turn. Even more in combination with specific units or just using his effect multiple times. But you do need to keep an eye on what is left inside your deck. This massive power bonus each turn gradually takes its toll on the opponent if they can't take you down first. It becomes hard to stop a field when there are about 25,000 a column to guard without triggers average. Even with the buffs to shields, it does take its toll eventually. I said that Siegfried gets better in tandem with other cards. Those are your two main beaters, Juggernaut Maximum and High Speed Bracky. Grade 2 and 3 with the same effects. When placed, they gain plus 10,000 for the turn, and at the start of your turn, you can chuck them into the soul to search your deck for another copy and place them on rear. You don't want to do that. You want Siegfried to do that for you, so they gain a total plus 20,000 for the turn, and Siegfried gaining the plus 10,000. However, this means both of these cards come with some risks. If you draw them, you need to get them back into the deck via Gary Gannon, or get them into the discard pile somehow so you can use Wonder Boy to send them to the deck. If they end up in the damage zone, you need to heal them, which is low chance, then Wonder Boy them back in. If you run out of them via General Siegfried's own effect, you will need to Soul Blast them out, then Wonder Boy them back into the deck. Honestly, the impact of these cards, even with Siegfried, doesn't feel as high as they should be with how they function and the risks involved. I've mentioned Wonder Boy, let's talk Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy functions roughly the same as Bracky and Jugs, but instead of plus 10,000 he gains plus 5,000 and sends a non-grade 1 from your discard pile to the deck. This will usually be Bracky or Jugs, but sometimes triggers. Wonder Boy has all the same risks as his teammate, but is their support. He's currently the only way to shove them back into the deck, and should he be completely damaged or drawn out, you're completely out of luck. I made a big deal of Spark Bouncer when he was first shown, and it is good. The deck needed some pluses, but keep in mind, it has the same chances of hitting things as Twin Drive and Triple Drive. Honestly feels a bit too risky on grade 2 when you have just the top 2 check. When you ride to grade 3, considering he is literally Aglovale at this point and has a 3-card window, feels most opportune. You can and will have this card fizzle with either 2 triggers or an inappropriate grade if you're betting on a booster or beater specifically. It's the standard risk-reward scenario. Jorasinger has very similar issues to Spark Bouncer, but is arguably worse because you never want to give up a card for such a risky effect in the early game. There is a world of difference between Soul Blast 1, Counter Blast 1 and having the effect fizzle, and paying a card than having the effect fizzle. There is the choice to use Funky Bazooka instead. You may want to run it. Save yourself some dosh too. Treasured Black Panther is interesting. It seems like a raw beater on face value, but it does have synergy with the rest of the deck. Seafried hitting is rather rare, so him Soul Blasting Brachian Jugs isn't a confirmed deal. Spark Bouncer does Soul Blast, but it's too early game to really get the Brachian Jugs out of the soul. However, for just the plus 5,000 buff, Panther can Soul Blast those Brachies and Jugs no problem. You can and probably will want to plus 15,000 to push for game, but Panther is the single most reliable source of Soul Blasting Brachian Jugs, so Wonder Boy can put them back into the deck. The final card is Tight Wide End. He has his uses, a nice 18,000 beta in an emergency, nothing much else to add, he's reliable, gives you nice stats. You might want to try Funky Bazooka, but there were certain scenarios where I did need an 18,000 beta. Final part is your grade 0 and they're pretty bog standard. Nothing surprising here. So here's the deck. It's alright. It's really hard to get excited over, get big, smash face when it's about the only thing the deck does and the power caps it has. But the deck is alright. I don't have much else to add. There really isn't much choice. Spike Brothers is very much classic Vanguard. Smash all the overtly better cards into a deck and go at it. This has been Some Gamer Dude. Sorry this video really isn't that interesting. You could probably get it anywhere else. I think everyone's build's gonna end up just about the same. I'll see you guys next video.